Hi everybody, how are we going today? This week we're going to do these beautiful pouches. That's what I call them. They're a cup in a cake pouch. Now they hold one of these cake pouches here. This is in Australia, so I don't know if they have the same brands. They're all around the world, I should imagine so. White Wings is a fairly big company. And they have these pouches in here. Let's have a look, see, and they hold a cake that you make in a cup. And all the instructions are on the pouches, so you don't need to worry about writing out the instructions for your recipient in any way, shape or form. So these are what we are going to make. And I just thought that the words on here are just perfect. So they make really great Christmas gifts. They'd be great for school teachers, mums and dad groups, you know, like, or old people that live on their own and they just like a little bit of a cake on Christmas Day, something like that. Or even you could make them as not for Christmas, you could make them for birthdays or as a get well. I believe that they would work really, really well for that. So they have a stand on the back that I have made because I don't like things that don't stand up on their own. I don't like things that have to be, you know, leant up against a shelf or something. So they have a stand and a nice writing panel on the back here. Well, we're using a different sentiment because that stamp went a bit yucky and I don't know what happened to it. And we have a spoon here. These are called eco spoons. They are made of bamboo. So once the recipient can use them and then throw them away. So we will get stuck in and I'll show you exactly what we're going to need. Let's pop these out of the way. Okay. Now I'll just explain. These eco spoons I got in Woolworths here in Australia. These are packed exclusively for Woolworths. They're Armada brand, and there's 20 in a pack for about $5, so they're not very expensive. So we're going to use the Cup of Christmas set because I do like the words, this set, sending a cup of cheer. Now that is something you could use all year round for somebody if you wanted to make them. I have a couple here that I've made as birthday cards because I have a couple of birthdays coming up in January, so, and I'll put a happy birthday on the back, so they're really great for different things like that. So we're going to use that. We're going to use our 2-inch circle punch and our 2 1/4 inch scallop circle punch. Now if you would like to use your layering circles you can do that. There's no right or wrong. I'm just using it because I find that it's easier. You're going to need some dimensions or foam pads and some ribbon, and I've got some retired ribbon here in gold, so we're going to use that today. So let's go through what we're going to need. It's really not too bad, and as per usual I'm going to do a bit of stamping and cutting with my with the dies from out of this set here. So I've already done that part, but we will go stamp it and everything. So the main card is going to be 6 3/4 by 10 3/4. Then we're going to need a front layer, which I believe is this one, which measures 4 1/2 by 2 3/4, and then a piece for our spoon stand in the corresponding colour, and this is Mango Melody, which will measure 2 5/8 by 1 inch. And then for our stand we're going to need a piece that measures 4 1/8 by 2 inches, and because the stand that I made for normal card is a bit flimsy, even though it's in card, it needs a bit more strength because of the pouches are a bit heavier, so I've made little bits of that can add on, and these are 2 of them at 2 inches by 1 1/2 inches. You have a writing panel for the back which measures 3 inches by 4 inches. So let's pop them out of the way. And then we need another couple of pieces of scrap, one for cutting out our circles, which we don't need any piece that big, but that's the piece I've got, and one for stamping our cups and our poinsettia flowers on them, which are here. So so that measures about 6 inches by about 3 inches or 3.5 inches, 3 inches. So, and that's all we need. Okay, so let's get stuck into this, and we will start with our main piece of card, and we're going to pop this into our scoreboard along the long side here, and we're going to score this at, here's my piece of paper, 3 1/4 inches. Let's get the right end. 3 1/4 inches and 3.5 inches. And then we're going to score this at 8 1/4 inches and 8 1/2 inches. Now I've seen this done quite a few times, but I didn't like the way they sat, so this is my version. We are going to put this on the short side now, and we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. Oops, this one, get that down there. Oops, yep. And 3/4 inch. Alright, so let's pop this board out the way. We're going to need it again a bit later, but let's get this piece done first. So with this piece here, we are going to cut away, let's get my scissors, these 4 pieces on this side. See these 4 pieces here? So we don't want the 2 long ones and the 2 little pieces. So we're going to cut up the score line to there and cut that away. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So this long one and this long one and these 2 little ones. So we're going to cut them away as well. And we're left with our 2 score lines in the middle here. So we are now going to use our 2-inch circle punch, and we're just going to turn it around so we've got our straight edge here and our middle section, and we're going to pop this in so about 1/3 of it is in there, and we're just sort of eyeballing it to make sure it's nice and even on both sides, and we're just going to punch that piece out. So that's just so we can put a little hole in there so we can pull our pouch out. So now we can fold and burnish all our score lines. Oh gosh, that one didn't want to bend. Now the only reason they're so small is because we only need a little bit for our pouch to sit in. Well, some of the other ones I've seen, they didn't have that. They just folded over it and that just bulged, and I didn't like the way it bulged. So, okay, so now we're going to put some wet glue, or you can use tape if you wish, but I prefer the wet glue, along this bottom strip here. So, and then we're going to fold I'll turn it this way around, fold this long one up so that it's nice and square and over the top. And I use my bone folder just to put a bit down there. And then I'm going to put a bit of glue along this long side here and a tiny bit along there, and fold the other side over and bring it up. Now if you prefer to use tear and tape, you can, but tear and tape is not as strong, so it just takes a little bit for the glue to stick. And there we have our pouch. That's our pouch done. Let's pop my needle back in the top of my glue so it doesn't dry up, and we will carry on with the next part of our card. So I'll pop that out of the way for now, and what we're going to do is we're going to stamp on our front panel, which measures 4.5 by 2 3/4, with some, I have a stamp here and I don't know what set it's from. It's been sitting on my block for a while, so I'll have to sort through them. And it's just got some snowflakes on there, so we're going to stamp some snowflakes in our Mango Melody. Excuse me, I'm having trouble opening that. And we're just going to stamp it all over there, just to cover it up, and it's just to make it look pretty. Now if you wanted to use a bit of designer paper here, go right ahead. There's no right or wrong. If you don't want to stamp, if you want to make it even quicker. So there we go, that's that done. I'll cover that over again for a minute, and we're going to just pop this onto the front of our card then, and we're going to stick it about like that, so that it's not right over this side, so it's on let's turn it this way around so it's right facing me. On my left hand side there's about I suppose 3/4 of an inch gap down that side, so let's pop a bit of glue on the back of this one. I don't like the way that glue sticks on there. That's better, it's gone. Come on. So we're going to pop that just there like so. And it's just there for show, so that it brightens up the front. So now we're going to make our spoon holder. So we've got our piece of card that measures 2 5/8 by 1 inch, and we're going to bring in our scoreboard again, and we're going to score this at 5/8 of an inch, which is the 1 mark after the 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 5/8 of an inch, and 2 inches. How easy is that? 5/8, 1 inch, 1 5/8, 2 inches. So let's move our board out of the way again. Excuse me, and we're going to just fold and burnish all of these score lines. And this just makes a little pouch that, or little holder like so. Okay, so we're going to then put a bit of glue on one of these ends. And we're going to pull this across and just hold it there so that the glue sticks nice and neat. It won't take a few seconds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get one of our spoons, and we're going to pop, with the join at the back, we're going to pop our spoon into the spoon holder, and we're going to work out where we want it, because we don't want it to come off the end of the bottom of the thing, so the pouch. So we're going to pop the spoon in there like so, and we're going to work out where we want it. Then we're going to put a bit of glue on the back of that again, and we're just going to lay that on there. Once we're happy with where it is, we can take our spoon out and we can just use something to stick it down with. And that is the front of the card done. Well, not done, but that bit done. Now we're going to go on to the stand, which is a tiny little bit more involved. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a pencil and a ruler, and we're going to mark all around our 2 inches by 4 1/8 inch, and we're going to mark, let's move these out of the way, 1/2 an inch around. So I'm going to mark 1/2 an inch there and there, turn it around, mark it at 1/2 an inch again here, and pull this down here, and then we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to mark it at 1/2 an inch, wrong way, this way, this way. So we're going to mark it at a 1/2 inch in again at this end and this end, which is, so we know where we're going. And the same on this end. Wrong end. This end. I don't know what I'm doing off today. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And now we're going to draw our lines right around on our piece of card. So we have like a circle. Okay, a rectangle. Now what we're going to do, let's move those out of the way. We're going to bring in our scoreboard again, and this will be the last time we bring our scoreboard in. And we're going to score this at 1.5 inches on the long side. And we're going to turn it 180 degrees and we're going to score it at 1.5 inches again. And those score lines are important that they're done because we need those as guides. So now we're going to just move my piece of paper off the top here on, because I need my cutting mat, and I'm going to use my craft knife, and I'm going to cut along this score line here, along the score line here, and this one here. So we can use our ruler if we wish, or we can do it by hand. I'm going to do it by hand. So I'm going to score down, I'll cut down rather, on both sides, and then we're going to cut along this side. So we're only cutting on 3 sides, so we have a piece that comes out like this. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side, so we're going to cut this down here on this, both these sides on the drawing lines, and along the bottom, along this side here. It's not the bottom, it's the side. Let's put our knife away because we don't want it to be someone to get hurt. So our piece of card now is going to look like this. So let's bring my knife back in, because on the black it's really hard to see. And we're going to fold our oh, excuse me. No, we're going to fold it the other way. So where we've drawn, we're going to turn it over and we're going to fold our score line, these pieces of our score line back, our outer sock parts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over again. Well, we're not, we're going to open it up like this. And we're going to glue these onto here. Now if we do it this way, if we turn it over so that we bring our points up this, and we put our pieces of stability on this side where we've drawn, we don't need to rub them out, which saves us a bit of effort. So we're going to do that. So we're going to put some glue on these 3 sides of this piece. And we're going to then butt our piece of card up against this side here and turn this over and press it down nicely. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to pull this over and we're going to put some wet glue or tape. If you prefer tape, that's fine. I prefer wet glue. I think it's stronger. And we're going to pop that on there. On 3 sides. We're going to pop this along this side here, and we're going to turn this over like so and push that back like that. So we have these 2 pieces that sit like this. Then let's put my glue. Oh, I don't want to pop that in there yet. Alright. Once that's nice and dry, we're going to put that onto the back of the card. So now you can see we can't see the any drawing lines. They're on this side here. So we're now going to add some more glue to this, and we're going to add it down this centre piece and onto these little flaps on the side. And we're going to position this about half an inch up from the bottom into the center. So centralize it, as you can see. Oh, mine's not very central. That's better. And about a half an inch up from the bottom. Once you're happy with where it is, stand it up, see if it stands up nicely. It does, so we're happy. And that will dry and stay there. And it lays flat, so we can pop it in an envelope. So if we need to. It will need to go into an A5 envelope, I believe, or you could make your own envelope. So we are now going to do our writing panel on the back. So let's pop the glue thingy back in the glue for a second while we do that. And we're going to stamp some more of our snowflakes just on one side of our piece. Doesn't matter which side, I'm putting them on the left hand side. And then I have a nice sentiment to go with it that says, wishing you a Christmas filled with love and happiness. And I'm just going to use black memento for that. And pop that on there. Let's pop that out of the way for a moment. And then we are going to just glue that onto the back of the pouch. The pouch. Oh goodness. This is not standing still today for me. Never mind. We know what needs to be done. Pop that back in there. And we're going to glue that onto the back so that we have a nice panel for writing our message onto. And virtually that's our pouch, so we can decorate it how we like. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to decorate mine. So let's pop this out of the way for a moment. And I'm going to use a nice piece of white cardstock here. And I'm using the Mango Melody again, if I can open it. Ooh. And we're going to stamp 2 of the cups out of the cup of Christmas on our card. And I'm going to also, I've covered this up now again, going to stamp 2 of the poinsettia flowers over here. And we're just going to colour in our poinsettias. So we have our Mango Melody in the light, which we're going to use for the berry things in the middle. Or they look like berries, but I think they're like, well, I don't know what you call them, stamens or whatever. And then I'm going to use the light, or the dark rather, real red for part of the leaves. There's some leaves that look like they are, well, they're not, they're sort of all like leaves, aren't they? They're not, what do you call it? Petals. They're not petals on poinsettias, are they? They're sort of leafy petals. So that's, I'm doing in the dark, and then in the light I'm going to do all the ones behind it in the real red. This set is actually retiring on the 3rd of January, this stamp set. So if you wish to purchase it, I would suggest you get in quickly, because once it's now on the retiring list, so once it's gone, it's gone. So first come, best dressed, as they say, or at least I say. Okay, so that's all them done, and then we're going to just using the dies that are they're part of this bundle. Now the dies are actually carrying over. The dies here are carrying over, but the stamp set itself is not. So there must be something new coming out. Ooh, so I don't know what. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm hoping it's something nice, and it will probably be in the new annual catalogue. So now we're going to cut those out, which I've already done. There we go. And because I had a little bit of scrap white and Mango Melody, I cut out a candy cane as well to match. So I've done that. So we're going to, oh, I've only got one piece of card. I should have had another piece of card for my circles. So we're going to cut out 2 circles in, whoops, 1 circle in the Mango Melody. And let me just quickly get another piece of card, which I got on the other table and left there. There we go. That's because I didn't have a small piece. And we're going to stamp our sentiment, which says, sending a cup of cheer, which we'll get out of here and pop on the block. Whoops. And Mango Melody. And we'll stamp this down in this corner here. Beautiful, just like I bought one. And we're going to punch that out with our 2-inch circle punch. Okay, let's move that bit of card from there. And now we're just going to mount this onto here. So with a bit of glue we're going to mount our sentiment onto our scallop circle. And we're going to come here. So we're just going to mount our 2 poinsettia flowers onto the front of our cups. And we're just doing them flat because we're putting everything else up on dimensions, so we don't really want to put those up on dimensions too, otherwise it becomes so high. And then we're just going to glue our candy cane together here. Oh, I didn't go on straight. How dare you? There you go, nice and straight. Glue's gone. So now we're ready to decorate the front of our card. So we're going to just pop our candy cane over onto this side here with a bit of glue, and then we'll finish with our glue for the day. Get in there, needle. And we're just going to pop that over here so that it just can be seen. Now we're going to pop some dimensions on the back of our cups. So and a little bit of edge piece, which we're going to cut in half on our handle. And we're just going to pop our cups onto the front of our card. I didn't think I pulled that one off. And I like to put mine on like on an angle. That's just me, but that's just the way I like to do it. And the other one on the other angle, like so. Now with our saying, we need to just put our, I like to put it here, so I'm just going to put dimensions on my right side. So when you turn it over, it'll be your left side. So just a couple of dimensions down there, and another piece of corner piece, edge piece, whatever. And then as you pop it on there, just butt it up against, you'll feel it butt up against there, so you can go, oh yes, that's nice. And it will sit nicely on the top of these. And that's our card done. So now we're going to pop our spoon in, which sits beautifully. And our cake, now these come in a variety of flavours. This one is cinnamon donut cake, so I don't know what that tastes like, but I've never even tried them so far. And that pops in there in the pouch just like so. We can lay it down for a moment because we're just going to make a nice bow out of our ribbon here to go on the front. The one's a bit long. This came a bit shorter. That's better. And then I'm going to just use a couple of mini dots, blue dots. It's a bit big, I think. That's better. A bit, oh, excuse me. Hurry up, summer. It's 3 weeks to Christmas. Well, 2.5 weeks to Christmas, and it feels like early spring. So we're going to pop that onto the front of our spoon holder, and there we have it. There's our card. How beautiful is that? As I say, I've got quite a few here. I've actually done a few as orders and they've gone already. So I've got a green one, a red one, which was my prototype, another one done in Mango Melody here, and I have, oh, excuse me, 2 more here that are actually birthday cards ones. So the flower at the back here is different on my paper, and it says happy birthday on the back. Oh, can you see that? Oh, sorry, happy birthday on the back there. I put butterflies on the front so that it didn't look Christmassy in any way. I love this cup of cheer stamp. It's so lovely for all kinds of these kinds of things. If you want to do it for, as I say, for birthdays, someone's a bit down in the dumps and you want to make them, to cheer them up, you know, cup of cheer. There we go, cup of cheer. So a lovely little thing. 1 minute in the microwave, so they make it in a cup, they pop it, and there's nothing, all they need to put with it, I don't know if anybody has ever bought these, so they don't not actually know. It says, add 2 tablespoons of milk, stir vigorously until mixed, microwave for 1 minute. So, I mean, how easy is that? So all they need is a cup, and they've got a little card, and gorgeous, gorgeous idea. Or at least I think it is. And as I say, this is my idea. I have seen this one done before, but it was just like a pouch without sides, and it just bulged way too much for my liking, and I didn't like the way, and it didn't have a stand on the back to stand up, and I like things that stand up on their own. Who wants a card that you've got to lean up against somewhere? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.